Hi everyone, I'm Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I had finished the Love of Leaves class today, at least the projects, and I got two of them filmed. The stamp sets, for those of you that are ordered the kits, should be here I think Tuesday or Wednesday. So as soon as they're here, I've been cutting the paper as I go. I'm ahead of the game with that. So I'll pop those in and I'll have all of the things edited early next week, mid next week. So if you're signed up for that class, look for it Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and you'll have that. I did want to remind you of a couple of the other classes. I have Love of Leaves. That's the one I'm talking about. You can't get the kit for it anymore because all of that's been ordered, but you can do the online access for it. The projects are super cute. So if you want to do the online access, I think I have that you can sign up for it through the end of September. And then once that comes and goes, that's the end of that. Fireside Trimmings is coming up, and I wanted to let everybody know with that one, one of the projects, we're going to make the fireplace light up with a battery. So that'll be super fun. And you can get a kit for that, or you can just do the online access, but to get the battery and the light, you'll have to get the kit. The snowflakes are coming up. None of these are projects that you make in the class, but once you have the stamps, you'll be able to go back and watch these tutorials because they're all up. And then poinsettias. I think that's the last class that we'll do in 2020 with the holiday catalog. And then the little treat bundles, that one's coming up too. So, and then I wanted to remind you a couple of things. This is going to post either on Friday or Saturday. We actually have a party tonight. How exciting is that? 2020 and a party. That doesn't even go together. It's a small gathering with some family friends at my daughter's house. But there won't be a weekend special this week. But next Wednesday, I will be live on both Facebook and YouTube, probably at the same time. Always fingers crossed that I can get my software to cooperate. I get it to work most of the time now, so that's good. But I'm going to be showing you a bunch of different little things, some little projects that I have going, maybe going back to some things that I made and never got filmed. So I'll just do them for you live. But I'll have some specials next Wednesday. So instead of anything this weekend, no weekend specials, but next Wednesday, if you catch me live, or I'll send an email out to remind you, you can always watch the lives later. I know if you're at work or anything. And then I will be sending an email out to remind you about the sign up special. So join my team. Then you get to take all of my classes for free and you don't have to pay for any of those. So that's super fun. And these are the two sets that you get. And I'm going to be doing a couple of cards with these on Wednesday as well, just to give you some more ideas. So then today, if you don't have an annual catalog, or if you don't have, this one's seen better days, because it's getting to the end. We're getting close to the time, if you're a demonstrator, that we're going to see the new January catalog. I feel like we've been on like a new catalog thing. So the next catalog doesn't come out till January, but we get to see it the second weekend in November. And unfortunately, that will be here before we know it. I was going to show you the cover to this thing. Well, I can't even find the cover. If you don't have the holiday catalog or an annual catalog and you're in the US, let me know and I'd be happy to send you one. But today, I've lost the page of what I'm doing today. I've had it, and I've actually shown it in a couple of classes. I know I've used it in at least 2 classes. So if you haven't been in those classes, you haven't seen me use it. But I'm going to use Cherish the Season bundle. It's the bells, so the dies. The stamps are cute too, but the dies are super cute. So I'm going to use the dies today. Here's the stamp set. I'm going to stamp the words. I tried to use both, but then I wanted to use the gold foil paper so it doesn't stamp well on it. So let me aim my camera down and we'll get going on this fun card. And everybody have a great weekend. Okay, for this project, we are going to use, I was going to use the same note cards that I just used to make the Noel card. This one, or the Joy card, I guess. So I just made this, and I love these red foil cards. So that was the intention. I started out fully intending to use these, and then I did my bells, and I didn't like it together. So I had 2 bells, and I was like, what am I going to use for these? And they're gold. So then I was like, oh, well, we still have these. These are the gold cards and envelopes. And they are in the holiday catalog as well. I think they're part, they may be in one of the fall things in there. But they're super pretty. They come with these really, really pretty envelopes. And then they're gold edged. So they worked better with what I wanted. So went from red. And it was a little bit because I did gold and a little bit because my bells were on this shimmery white, because you know me and shimmery white. And then I have some gold foil, and again I was going to use the brushed metallic, but then I wanted to put it through. This is one of those projects that didn't end up at all like was in my head. It wasn't really in my head. I started with the bells. I had a little bit of a design kind of in my head, but it just grew on its own. I added the olive, so and then I didn't use any of the stamps, even though I tried. So I'll show you. You can see kind of where it was. I didn't even end up using all of this stuff. There's the teensy tiny little bell. Look at this. I really wanted to use the teensy tiny little bell that comes in the bundle, but it didn't work either. So we'll have to revisit this set because it's got lots of potential. And this is just this piece of shimmery white cardstock. Here's a tip for you. You're gonna put these on here and you just need the pieces because we're gonna paint them all. So you can run them all through, but just run them through once because it has like designs on your bells. And if you run them through twice, you'll pop them out. And you don't want them popped out. You want them to stay in your bell. And always, I tell you this all the time, you shouldn't have to run anything through your die cut machines. And if you have this one, it cuts even better, so you shouldn't have to run it through twice ever. But every time you run it through, it just puts another hole in these. And then I've had a whole bunch of people ask me recently why the things they have aren't cutting. If these get too many holes in them, these are consumable. And the more cuts they have, there's less for your dies to cut into. So you may have to buy new ones. So, you know, they won't cut forever. But look how pretty those are. See those? But if you run it back and forth, those are going to pop out because they're barely held in there. And they're designed too. I mean, you can pop them out. I could easily pop them out now if I wanted to. I don't want them to fall out. So I'm going to be gentle with mine. And then we have our two pine boughs, and one's still in there. So I'll move this out of the way and then we'll work with these. So then I just have a piece of scrap paper because we're gonna do a little bit of painting. And my original one did start on watercolor cardstock. So I didn't even go with that. Like I said, this just had a little bit of transformation. But it was too gold. We don't have a really good gold ink. And so I painted it with crushed curry, which is still sitting here. I didn't even close it all the way. And it ended up being too yellow because it was too much ink on. So now I have So Saffron. So take your pad, squish it together, pick up quite a bit of ink, especially for this because it's going to do your bell, the whole bell. And we're starting with it because it's the lightest color ink. So now we have a little ink pad here to work with. And then you're going to take, this is an empty Wink of Stella. If you don't have an empty one, you can use a paintbrush. Or, you know, you can use the Wink of Stella that you have until it's empty. And then this is our Champagne Mist pigment paint. And I'm just going to use the lid. Well, I would, except that stuck to it. Come on. Fall in there. And because it's stuck to it, not very much paint came off on it. Enough. So I'm going to first get some paint on my Wink of Stella. And on these, I'm going to kind of hold this so you can see. I'm just going to give it a quick brush over. Which is pretty. If you're going for a silver card, you could kind of do this with some gray. And then I'm going to grab some of that. And go back over it and make it be the gold. It's important to put that first little coat of the shimmer paint on. Otherwise, right where you hit will just be, the ink will soak right into that cardstock and it'll be super gold right there. Or saffron. because even though this is a light yellow, you can see that it's still a pretty, once it hits that cardstock, it's pretty yellow. So there's that one. Grab some more of this. And again, just kind of go over the whole thing. I've already lost one of my little hollies. Which those really don't matter. I'm gonna have to shake this again because that thing fell out. I love the shimmer paints. They're just a lot of fun. So kind of just brush that on there. You want to work quick enough that it doesn't start to dry, and then just grab some of the yellow. And you're going for kind of a shade of gold, so it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't matter that you're going all the same places. If you get a little bit where the green and the red's going to be, that's okay too, because the green and the red are both darker than this, so it will cover it up. And we're going to put ribbon through the top of these little loops, so they don't need to be really colored either. And we want it to be vintage looking. And then when you're done, just kind of get that color off. So that's all for the saffron. Normally you get enough ink on paint in here that you can do these, but since my lid came off, I'll shake it again. And we're going to go to the old olive. Now you can see it has a bunch more paint in there. Again, squish the lid together. And then you have, last time I didn't, it doesn't take nearly as much green. Get this. I'm gonna kind of brush it on here. Get these nice and ready, and then just grab some green. Make some super sparkly. And it just takes a second. And then for these, you can't be quite as, you just can't go as fast because the leaves are smaller. And you don't want it to look like a 2-year-old colored them. So just painting each of these. If you were doing more than one card, you would want to do all of your greens and all of your saffrons at one time, so you don't have to keep changing, cleaning off the tip of your brush. So just paint those in real quick. And these over here. I have lots of videos on my channel, all different kinds of things that I've painted in with this method. Been doing it for years. As long as we've had the Wink of Stellas and the pigments. You can do it just straight with Wink of Stella if you have a new one. You don't need the shimmer paint. It's a great way. You don't have to buy the shimmer paint. And you can use it with markers. You can use it with ink refills. It doesn't have to be the ink pad either. So now we have the green. Let's go to the real red. Squish this. And this really just takes a dot because we just have these tiny little holly berries. Just kind of swirl it on there to keep it in a circle pattern. It gives it a great vintage look. I'm just going to go around the edge of that one that's fallen out. The same one fell out on my other one. You must press the hardest. But when I layered them on my card, I just covered it up. So super cute. It doesn't take long at all. Just get those inks off. That's why if you have, if you're going from color to color, I mean, making more than one card, to not just keep doing these, because every time you change colors, you waste a little bit of shimmer paint. Not a ton though. That's all the painting. And I did those before I did the rest of the die cutting and stuff just, it doesn't take them long to dry, but we'll just set them there while we do the rest of this. And I'm gonna use a couple of other new things that I haven't used yet. If I can find it. I have this, I think it's called Winter Wonderland, maybe Winter, it's gonna be in the supplies below, but it's the folder that comes in the Snowflake Splendor Suite. I'm gonna lay my gold foil in here, and it's not the brushed gold. If you use the brushed metallic, you don't really wanna, you can put it through a folder, but it kind of takes away the fun of the brushed. Now this is not a 3D folder, so the sandwich for it is to take away the little insert that goes in there and then just put it between two cutting plates. And anytime you emboss the foils, any of the foils, they're just so pretty. Look how pretty that is. Once I saw the bells, and I saw they just look like something you might pick up in an antique store, something from the 1940s. And then you can see what happens when you layer this. It's really pretty. Like the colors are pretty, but I don't like the square knobs hitting up against the square knobs, right? It's too square and it's kind of forced. So I just went over and I got this. This was also used, it was still on my desk in one of my recent classes. I'm not sure which class it's in. It's in a class because I just used it. So I did, this time though, I used it's the trio punch. So I'm going to use 2 of them. So I find it's easier if I use it when I stand up. So for the gold one, I'm going to use this. So you just shove it in all the way until you feel it hit the corners. And this is going to give it that fun little lacy thing. But the fun thing about it is you can see it matches this. It's kind of the opposite. But I still don't want it to have the square. So I'm just going to put it back in the corner rounder part. You could also, it also does a ribbon hole. I don't need that for this card. So it just slides right up in there and it just takes those corners right off. I'm going to do the same thing for my olive piece. And it just softens the look of it. And then it will look like it matches. See? Just get all those pieces out of there. My husband did paint my table for me, so all these things where I've had gotten pigment sprinkles on it and washed it off are finally fixed. So now you see these don't have points going to them, and this will all match so much nicer. So now we're almost done. I'm going to take the sheer ribbon. This is in the catalog as well, and it goes with the poinsettia suite. It's in the holiday. I'm going to take these. You have to be careful, again, because of the fact that these dies can fall out. So what I did was first I took this, and see that one that fell out right there? I just barely covered it up. Where'd I put my... So just put a little bit of adhesive right here. And you need these to kind of overlap. It's a little bit of a faux. So we're gonna put a bow, but I didn't want to mess with, because I didn't want, these are so delicate and the chances of them falling out are huge. So I didn't want to mess with the bow. So I took my sheer ribbon, and I know a lot of you like the idea of a faux bow because they're just easier. So put this on here. Then we're also not messing with it very much. Pull it through here. See how much you need for it to wrap around just the gold piece. Also saves a little bit of ribbon. And now you can stick these down. And again, what I did was I took my seal, and see, you can see where they're almost popping out. Oh, come on. I know it's gonna run out. I'll be using this for the next 4 years, telling you guys it's gonna run out. because I can see that red. But put your seal right across the back of those, just one little more way. Oops, you're seeing I just pulled it out. That it's gonna hold them in. This does have seal on it though. And then put those there. If I hadn't been touching it, trying to show you guys my seal. Just pop that one right back in its hole. So now they're held on by that as well. So then just take this, like this, flip it over. This may actually be gone. See the red? It's gone, I think. And then take these, make sure they're flat. So this one goes this way, and then just fold it around. That one goes that way and fold it around. And now since this is gone, I'll switch to this. You don't need the Seal Plus because you don't need that much of an adhesive. Pop that on there. And this one goes just on here. And the nice thing about these note cards is that they're already scored, so every last one is straight. Then take your ribbon, and now you can do a bow, and you can mess with it without it being on your card. And then it's just like tying your shoes. And you can control the size of it. You can make it be nice and flat. When you have the sheer ribbon, sometimes if you stick your fingers up in it, if you find that your bows always look flat on the end, then keep your fingers in there, and then you don't flatten them when you're pulling it tight. See how much prettier that is? I'm gonna take a little bit of this. The Seal Plus does help to hold the bow in there. Now it looks like you did some fancy bow work to get that all tied on there, and all you did was make a fake one. And then we have two little pieces of greenery. Add some of those, and only add it to the bottom so they'll have a little bit of life to them. And then I have the holiday rhinestones. They're from last year's holiday catalog, but they are in the annual catalog. So I'm gonna take the gold one, because I have this gold theme going on. Kind of just add them up like it's a little sprig up here, and then a red one, and then another gold one. And there we go, a fun vintage, lots of shimmer and shine, everything on it shines. We've got the foil, the shimmer, little things up here. Here's my other one. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you can find time next Wednesday to join me. I may have one other tutorial that posts between now and, probably will, between now and Wednesday. So make sure you check out my website for all of my classes. I'd love to have you be part of my team. There is a tutorial that helps walk you through the sign up process on the website. Right now in September, you do get the 2 free extra stamp sets, supplies to make 16 cards, which is always fun. And it's just really fun to be part of the Stampin' Up family. So if you have any questions with that, give me a call, and again, have a great weekend. Bye.